in order to change their lives. People have created splendid history and culture, and the ever-running, the Grand Canal has come into being. It has injected abundant resources into Jiangsu and become an important part of Jiangsu's cultural and tourism road. The prosperity of Jiangnan has contributed to the unique charm of Huaiyang cuisine, where there are also a variety of local snacks. Taking a sightseeing boat to appreciate the cultural charm of the Grand Canal, you can have a panoramic view of the Jiangnan. From the essence of history and culture to interpret Yangzhou, many poetic and pictorial stories covering Yangzhou in the Mid-Autumn Festival has been passed down to this day, among which the most famous is 24 Bridges in Yangzhou under the moon. And the scene of all stars gathering around the moon reflects the beautiful bath of the city. Its unique natural and cultural environment has fostered unique characteristics of Yangzhou cuisine. Wensi tofu has become one of the famous dishes in Jianghuai area. Jingling, the ancient capital, is surrounded by mountains, posing a magnificent and precipitous manner. The magnificent history and culture here have triggered the inspiration of the literati living along the banks of Qinghai River, and the improvisational poems created by them have become well-known sentences for thousands of years, granting a special definition to the Mid-Autumn Festival. Food culture is one of the great characteristics of Nanjing. Nanjing's snacks are well known all over the world and are ranked first among the 4 major snacks in China. The excavation of the Grand Canal seems to be the beginning of the economic rise of Jiangnan. The old neighborhood of Huishan Ancient Town entertains the returning relatives with stone pork meat on the Mid-Autumn Day. The family affection, the blood is thicker than water, is naturally revealed inadvertently. Wuxi, where the snack culture is well developed, people have unique preferences for wonton and xiaolongbao. Dessert is one of the characteristics of Wuxi cuisine. Sweet and sour spare ribs is one of the best specialties in Wuxi. You cannot mention the beauty of the landscape without mentioning Suzhou. The marvelous spectacle of 9 moons being connected by the stone lake is a definition given to the city by the Mid-Autumn Festival. It has become the essence of folk customs and inherited the power of order. Suzhou enjoys rich local food and products, and there are various kinds of Suzhou-style snacks with local characteristics, reflecting the local quality of life and regional characteristics. In Mid-Autumn Festival, when family gets together, it is of course of special significance to enjoy the moon and taste delicious food, which is not only an appropriate time for relatives to exchange feelings, but also an important embodiment of Chinese folk customs. Mooncake seems to be an indispensable part of this festival, and it also represents people's desire for perfection. 2,000 years ago, Su Dongpo left this obsession in his poems with this cordial emotion. In the cultural heritage, people's delicacies are all made for this expectation, which is the greatest charm of the Mid-Autumn Festival. The land of Yangzhou, Huaihe River, welcomes guests from all walks of life. Whether it is the beautiful scenery of the slender West Lake, the scenery of the former residence of Qinghua, or the Nanchang Street with romantic stories. The garden art of Suzhou is the most classic and true portrayal of Wu culture. During the Mid-Autumn Festival, let's enjoy the delicious food, culture, and the moon with our relatives in the picturesque scenery, which is the best gift of nature to people.
Shrimp, as a common food material, is very common for people in the Yangtze River Basin. Huayang cuisine pays great attention to the characteristics of the original flavor, so that the delicious flavor will be carried forward incisively and vividly. Sautéed crystal shrimp is such a representative dish. A plateful of bright shrimps are like crystals, with its elasticity still retained and full of fresh taste. Fresh river shrimps are cooked by skilled chefs to retain their integrity and flavor. First, drain water for better sizing. Then, wrap the shrimp meat in egg white and keep it marinated slightly to remove the fishy smell of river shrimp, and the meat would become softer and smoother. With the Chinese kale added to stir-fried, the crisp and fresh flavor also set off the delicious shrimp. Next, thicken dishes with starch and add water starch. Which can brighten the color and increase the thickness, making it more enjoyable to eat. Chinese cuisine emphasizes the harmony and balance of 5 flavors. Among them, sweet and sour are the classic partners in the kitchen. Sweet and sour taste in the appropriate proportion of combination can make the pork delicate and moving. Wuxi Junlai Hotel Management Group Company Limited returns this dish to its root and brings the sweet and sour flavors to the extreme. It chooses the freshest pork ribs, and after simply boiling water, it gets stir-fried with scallion and ginger to produce aroma, which saves the meat's juice inside, different from the burnt and hard flavor by pre-treatment in oil. Then add light soy sauce and dark soy sauce from Taihu together. When seasoning and coloring, it can best reflect the regional characteristics of Wuxi cuisine. Then add rock sugar and water to boil, when the unique sweetness of rock sugar would be instantly released in the pot. Pour in zhenjiang vinegar. Cook for a moment and collect the juice by big fire until the marinade wrapped the spare ribs. At that moment, the caramel-like color would be oily and appetizing. In terms of the combination of sugar and vinegar, sour taste makes sweet taste more flexible. Across the Milky Way, the cowherd meets the maid. When autumn's golden wind embraces dew of jades, Chinese people often use sweet to express happiness and sour to express pain. It is the perfect state that chefs are constantly searching for, and also the wisdom and ideal of Chinese people to make different flavors blend and balance. Western food materials and cooking have been common in modern Chinese restaurants. Fast logistics allows people to taste the flavor from the sea without going to the seaside. Codfish is such a popular marine delicacy, and it is tender, thick, and spineless, and can be enjoyed with a big mouth without worrying about fish bones. Simple frying can make the delicious flavor from the sea. Remove the skin of codfish. Marinate it with black pepper and sea salt so as to season the dish and absorb the fishy smell of seafood. Add olive oil to blend to keep the fish tender without losing water. The sauce in Western food is often the key to determine the flavor. For example, rosemary, known as the dew of the sea by the Mediterranean, has a strong aroma of pine wood, which is commonly used in Western food. Cook broccoli and chicken stock with rosemary added in, and the fragrant and thick soup add exotic flavor. Marinated codfish is fried with butter on both sides, which is more delicious. Drizzled with the sauce, and the spices will quietly enrich the taste of the codfish. From the west to the east, in a new city, the food has become more inclusive and broad. It brings us more surprise and enjoyment when we meet with the food from all over the world. The biggest characteristic of Huaiyang cuisine is that the common ingredients are elaborately carved and presented in a gorgeous manner. The role of cutting skill is the first to bear the brunt. Raincoat cucumber embodies this characteristic incisively and vividly. The chef of Western food needs a knife to match every move, while Chinese chefs need only one knife to evolve countless cutting techniques. To learn them, the chef needs to pass it on to his apprentice, and it's also required to understand the profound connotation behind the cutting techniques. To use a knife skillfully is not only a skill, but also a need for inner peace and adherence to tradition, which is where the authentic flavor lies. A common cucumber and a kitchen knife are enough to make this dish rich. The raincoat cucumber may be an inevitable dish for every Huaiyang chef. It seems common, but each cutting should take into account the angle, depth, and moving speed. The qualified coir raincoat cucumber must be moderately spaced and extended to twice without breaking, so as to ensure the crispness and taste after dipping. By simple salting with salt, make sure the salt can penetrate into the fiber. And add scallion oil and sugar for seasoning after slightly draining the water. A common cucumber is thus incarnated as a work of art. In the fast-paced city, people are always busy and have no time to enjoy, but a bowl of fried rice can satisfy people's desire for delicious food. In terms of satiated rice, accompanied by meat and vegetable dishes, 1 spoon can meet all the needs. Yangzhou fried rice, the staple food of Huaiyang cuisine, is said to have its embryonic form during the period of Yangzhou Ancient Canal, with distinct and loose grains, proper hardness, and embellished with a variety of food materials. The aroma of soft and glutinous rice is pretty attractive. As for Yangzhou fried rice, the most classic way is egg fried. After evolution, there are chicken, ham, shrimp, fresh bamboo shoots, green beans, carrots, and other ingredients, enriching the fried rice. The overnight cooked rice shall be chosen, as this is the best way to achieve the effect of loose grains. Pour the broken eggs into the oil pan. After forming, quickly disperse them to keep the eggs soft and tender. Stir-fry the side dishes with eggs, and add chicken, ham, shrimp to stir-fry, and they will increase the taste of fried rice. Then pour the rice into the pot, and it instantly becomes soft and attractive as it absorbs the aroma of a pot. Finally, it would be a perfect staple food after just a simple seasoning. Without complicated techniques and dazzling techniques, it can make you feel steadfast and warm from the depths of your body. For thousands of years, mooncake, as a representative of traditional cuisine, has entrusted the Chinese people's hope for family reunion. Today, people will no longer have the sorrow of missing, like silently tasted, love sickness tears moist the towel. But the connotation of mooncake is still retained. Chinese cuisine is not only about techniques, but also about the cultural heritage behind it. As the poetry says, as the bright moon shines over the sea. From far away, you share this moment with me. Reunion, happiness, sweetness, and harmony are the meanings of Mid-Autumn Festival, which are also the Chinese flavor.